All right, Evan for Steiny with Daryl the Guru Johnson. This is the crossover. Dan Dibley in the house and Mark Willard in a bunker or a cabin. Where are you at, Mark? What's going on?
Marky.
Yeah.
Undisclosed location.
Totally.
Is where I am. But I wasn't, I told the guys, I'm not coming in. I'm not coming back from this journey that I've been on and coming in with some sort of vanilla background. So if you want to be on YouTube, we can talk about it. If you're not on YouTube, who gives a crap? Let's talk about sports.
Mark, I thought it was a plant. I'm like, this ain't Mark Willard in the YouTube chat.
No, that's me. No, it's me. It's me.
There
Go
he
ahead.
is.
What we got?
But first, hold on, Mark.
on.
First, let's start from here.
All right.
Happy birthday, brother.
Yes.
Happy birthday.
Happy belated birthday.
Yeah, we did that
Thank you.
yesterday.
Oh, did you?
No, we didn't. I actually have a special thank you to you three because I know that the three of you were
was on my
three
way.
of.
Yes.
You were three of the people. There were more, but three of the people from our entire crew
Yep.
who were going to be a part of what the lovely Christy was trying to do for me last night.
Yeah.
And I ruined it because I'm a stubborn ass. and I came to work on Monday when I shouldn't have. And so that's part of why this thing is still not completely gone from my body.
I got you.
I mean, I'll let people in. Like, there was a surprise party planned with the 49ers.
I had your gift. Yep.
49 and a whole 49er type theme thing that she explained it all to me once it was evident that we weren't going to be able to do it. And so I felt guilty, but first and foremost, I felt touched.
Oh, good.
So thank you
Good,
guys.
good.
Thank you. But like the fact that on a Wednesday night, y'all were going to
I was on my
travel
with
the Bay.
Marine.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, that meant something to me. So
Good.
thank you, boys.
Well, I felt pride because I am absolutely terrible with surprise parties, and she hit me like 9 or 10 days in advance, and she told me, and all I thought to myself was, oh, because I'm not one who's actually really good at keeping secrets, and so it's funny because late last week. You and I were talking.
You did great.
Yeah, and you're like, we got birthday week coming up, and I was like, wait.
Oh, that's right.
Wait, what?
That's right.
What is birthday week? What do you mean?
What is that?
And then I kind of played it off, and then you're like, well, it's me and
You
it's
did great.
Abe, and you're like, I don't want to say because it's really my birthday, and I was like, oh, what? It's your birthday? And I was like, oh, thank God.
Oh, man.
Thank God. I think I got him off the off
because
the set.
I don't like telling people it's my birthday because
Right,
I'm
right.
like everybody's got one. It's not. I didn't do anything. I was just born.
Mark.
My parents had relations, and here I am.
Whoa.
I didn't. You know
Don't
what I
talk
mean?
about that.
Yeah.
Shout out the
Yeah,
60s.
like Tom and Ellen, there was a time. And so anyway,
Mark.
but
Summer of
no,
love.
I appreciate it. And Dibs, you were one not leading up to it, but I do because everybody else had, like, you know how it is with a surprise party, you got to be there early.
Right.
You got to be there before
No
the
doubt.
person's there. I'm like, how the hell were you going to beat me there because you're literally parked like I pin you in
Correct.
in the parking
Yeah.
lot. So you would have had to, I don't know, you would have had to come a little bit later or whatever.
Right.
It would have been funny if I had run into you like outside her house. as
Or
I was
on the
arriving.
freeway
That
on the
would-
Golden Gate Bridge. And I actually thought
on the
about
freeway.
that.
I'm like,
Yeah.
like, Dibs, you took the wrong bridge. What are you doing right
Totally.
now?
And we'll let the people in just briefly on, Mark and I, because we both park in the same spot and we leave here at about the same time.
Okay.
But he and I have an agreement, unspoken, that we won't leave together. We won't walk together.
Donnie and I, we don't take the same elevator.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Steiny won't let me walk with him.
Normally Mark will leave about, a minute to 3 minutes before me. And then occasionally I'll catch up to him on the walk, depending on our route.
Yeah.
Because, we both kind of figured on our own that we talk to each other for 4 hours a day,
Boy.
20 hours a week. The last thing we need is, hey, Mark, how about this Kearney Street? Boy, the sidewalk sure is
Well,
slippery.
I don't want to talk to anybody at 6.
Totally.
Yeah, I don't want to talk to. It's not just
Exactly.
you. I don't want. Like,
Oh, no, it's you.
These are enough words. No, well, but I mean, we get. It might be like any
Right.
given day, right? You might be like, I need a break, but like,
You got a
I
word
don't want to
count.
talk to anybody.
Totally.
Yeah, exactly.
And Willard, I don't
Even
know if the
even
great
I have
Christy
one.
told you last week. Remember, I had my Kaiser appointment for my knee,
Yes,
and I go, I'm gonna
she
miss
did.
the appointment. So I call out at the doc, hurry up. I go, Christy, I ain't gonna make it. I'm too far. And she goes, Guru, it's next Wednesday. I go, oh, all right.
Yeah.
I got your bottles ready. I said, okay. And then you got
Last
sick
party
on us.
you went to the wrong house.
Martha
this
Stewart
time you
and
picked the
Snoop.
wrong day. I'm terrified to invite
But
you to
you
Super
messed
Bowl
it
this
up. You
year.
got
You're gonna end
ill.
up-
Yeah, you got
I
ill.
messed the whole thing
Yeah,
up.
no doubt.
I messed the whole thing
What did you
up.
want to come for
But
me
that-
at? Remember you said, Goo, call on you because you're coming for me.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, listen.
Oh, here we go.
This is one thing. This is okay. Yeah. So that's the end of those wishes.
Yeah, boy.
Now, when does Kyle Shanahan's record become his excuse? When does his record become the answer, the only answer that people need when we go, don't call plays like this, don't call plays like that, your booty does this, you do it wrong, you do. When does 4 appearances in this game in 5 years say to people, yes, he's doing it right. Let's watch. Not every play's going to work. By the way, what we watch on TV, guys, that's not what they always call. That's not the way. Like, there's a defense out there that's messing with what they're trying to do. The throw to Ray McCloud is a great example. We all thought Brock Purdy had this terrible throw in the fourth quarter of that game. Ray went the wrong way. And Brock screamed at him. And so when I look at what happened before halftime, which is what you guys were talking about, I don't look at those results and automatically go, well, that means Kyle just decided to take a squat on the ball and hang out for a half hour. That's not what he was trying to do. That's the way that it ended up going. And obviously, he did not score points either before or after half, which is not what you're looking for. But that then turns us into small sample size Steve. It's like, when does 4 times in 5 years make us go, you know what? Man knows what the bleep he's doing. He really does. Every other coach in the NFL, like, listen, I can't wait to play for everybody something I listened to Dan Campbell say this morning about Kyle Shanahan. Like, the reverence this league has, the difficulty people have stopping him, followed by us every week picking the 8 spots that look like crap and going, what the hell is wrong with this guy in the playoffs? It bothers me.
Okay.
It bothers me. This guy's unbelievable run of success right now.
And Willard, I appreciate your honesty, but let me start here. One, I think we're at that juncture now in regard to his record being the defense. All I pointed out was and you're right. I love the Ray comp because on TV it looked like he was totally like that was just one of Purdy's the worst passes of the game, and then you find out he went the wrong way. The receiver did. My point is, he wasn't ultra aggressive, selling out, trying to get that touchdown or helping his team get that score. Willard, I think that's fair. Now, you didn't hear me say anything about those play calls on the drive that won him the game, although the players executed it, but he was in his bag. But I just merely pointed out I didn't feel like that was ultra aggressive, Kyle. Like, did you get that? And I think Dan Campbell, and I'm not comparing, maybe even Sean McVay, you could tell if they were ultra aggressive trying to get that touchdown. And I thought Kyle was kind of pedestrian. That was my point.
I don't think that you can watch a football game and know exactly what the play call was. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is to me.
But what about how fast the team is moving?
He laid out, well, that's a little different, and that goes play to play also based on the results of what you called on the previous play. Did it work? Did it not? He's already detailed that he called a play where option 1 was to go over the top and get the ball into the red zone. It wasn't there. The Packers took it away. So then we see Brock check it down in the rain, and we go, lemon booty. It's like, no, that's not what happened. We can't look at football and decide we know what the play call is, and that goes in both directions. Let me take you back to Thanksgiving night. Kyle Shanahan did the no, yes that put it away because Brock looked at what was supposed to be a conservative call, so something much more aggressive, went for it, got it, cool. And then we go, Kyle, great call. That wasn't Kyle's call either. That was Brock. So I just think that it would be nice for me if we would listen to what they're saying a little bit more, they're not full of crap.
Right.
They're not. Like, Kyle is actually known around the league for being one of the more honest coaches in a press conference. We could have Belichick, who will just sit there and grunt for an hour and then go home.
Right.
But he tries to tell people sometimes things about what he's trying to do. They don't always work.
Okay, give me
and
this,
then
Mark.
I just feel like we go hindsight's 2020
I got
on
you.
him.
Okay, how about this? For Niner fans, what would you suggest they do? Forget who's at fault, and you're right, what was called, because I'm not in the know. But what about a fan base that might be disappointed that the team didn't score? What would you tell them to do with that disappointment?
I mean, a fan base that's disappointed that they didn't score.
Right, because you're so worried about us blaming. You're getting upset at who we blame. Forget who I blame. Forget, you know what I'm saying? You're defending everybody that somebody blames for a play not working, and then you're saying, Goo, you're not privy to what was going on. Okay, but what about being upset at the bottom line that the team didn't score before half? I'm asking you, is that okay?
I don't think that's the bottom line. The bottom line is that they're in the NFC title game.
No, the bottom line is they didn't score before half, Mark. That's not fair.
No, Goo. No, the bottom line is they won. And they're here again. And that's what I'm getting at today. It bothers me how much criticism I listen to Kyle Shanahan get. He's flipping awesome. That's all I'm saying.
And I'm not saying he's not awesome, Mark.
Championship game for the fourth time in 5 years.
Right, but I'm not saying he's not awesome, Mark.
Certainly sound like it.
Well, I mean, there's also like 10% of the show.
All we're doing, Mark, when can we critique is what I'm asking you.
Yeah.
In your world, when is it okay for us to critique? Nobody's saying Kyle's not great. Come on.
Whenever. And it is totally okay for me to point out that I don't like the critique. What's wrong with that?
Nothing.
By the way, you are listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM in HD1 San Francisco, always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union.
No, nothing is wrong, Mark, but you can't tell people they don't have the license to voice their frustration or opinion. That's what I'm saying.
I don't believe that I did, and I don't believe that I did. I voiced mine, which is that I think that often we watch football in a hindsight is 2020 space where we blame Kyle Shanahan for things that was not his intent, but they are the way they went because there is a defense out there, there's a rainstorm, there are all kinds of things that are forces against the play call going exactly the way you want it to go. And then we say he's conservative. I don't mind if you don't like a play call. I just think he gets labels on him that aren't true. That's all I'm saying.
Look at the way he managed the clock, and you wait 38 seconds and then you call timeout. You run it all the way down to 36 seconds and then you call timeout. That to me is a bigger issue than a play call that maybe doesn't go his way or a check down that people think that he should have thrown it down the field. I look at general clock management at the end of the half, and I see a coach who would much rather not have the other team score than maybe his own team score. Like if he ranked the priorities, his number one priority would be to not have the other team score. Priority number two would be for his team to score. And that is by nature conservative. And I wonder about this Sunday against the guy who's coming out biting kneecaps, and he'll go for it on fourth and whatever from wherever. And if it works, then it's going to be great. If they win, people will say, well, there you go, Kyle. The more aggressive coach beat you. And if it doesn't work, then maybe Kyle's approach turns out does work. But that, to me, is one of the big question marks about Kyle Shanahan is the conservative approach to clock management at the end of the half in particular. And this is a game where if it works, then you're a genius. And if it doesn't work, if it goes the way it did against Green Bay, where you bleed the clock down and you don't score, and then you get the third quarter kick and you don't score, if that results in a loss, he's going to be criticized. And that's the way that's going to go.
Yeah, no, and look, I mean, I think there's also been examples.
Dibs, have you... No, go ahead, Eddie.
No, it's just there's examples of needing to get aggressive in big games because you also don't know how the rest of the game is going to unfold. Like, for example, in the 2018 Super Bowl, Doug Peterson decided to go for it and drop the Philly special on New England. He could have taken 3 points there, but he decided to get ultra aggressive, and they ended up needing those points in order to win the football game. So, I guess when I look at Shanahan, and this isn't just specific to the Green Bay game, more times often than not, and I think this is what Dib's getting at too, we've seen him lean towards the conservative side. And that's what I saw again at the tail end of that first half when you have 4 minutes and you're trying ideally to get 7 points, but at 2:43, you run the ball, you're 62 yards away from the end zone, and you let it expire down to the 2-minute warning. Well, okay, either you're going to get aggressive out of the 2-minute warning, or in my opinion, it appeared that he just wanted to go for the field goal the entire time. And that to me is something that, while I don't think anybody would tell you that Dan Campbell's a better head coach than Kyle Shanahan. And we spent the majority of the show wondering why there isn't more excitement for a 4th title game in 5 years, second time you're hosting it at home. But I think one of the reasons why there is trepidation is because if there is a sliver of hope for Detroit, one of the areas is to take advantage of a head coach that can get conservative opposite a guy that's not afraid to try and maximize scoring opportunities. And if you're an underdog, that is a path to victory. There are not many of them, but that's probably how it would play out if the Lions end up winning this game.
Well, it's a path to a loss too, though, is it not? I mean, this guy very recently in Dallas, and I understand all of the little idiosyncrasies that went into this play, but Dan Campbell's taken a lot of criticism for being way too aggressive at the end of the Dallas Cowboys game. Dibs from you, too. And I understand partially that was not meaning going for it the first time, but going for it when he was at the 7-yard line. And I totally understand that. But double-edged sword that we're talking about here. And again, my bet, if we had, and we don't, but if you all had the opportunity and the time to sit down with Kyle Shanahan and go play-by-play, I don't think he was trying for a field goal. I think that when certain things don't work, first down, second down, third down, situationally, then yes, you do. Yes, you do look at it and go, well, okay, now we're probably going to end up with a field goal. Let's take time off the clock. It's raining. If we miss the field goal, we're going to give Green Bay the ball right by midfield. Even if there's 30 seconds left, that would be stupid. Like, that's situational every play. And I think that that's fair, not conservative or puckering up.
Yeah. And, Mark, you see me, I think you know, because I'm not a Kyle apologist, but you see me 5 days a week. There's not a football coach I would take over Kyle, but maybe you're saying you're hearing so much of this, and I touched on it. I was just saying.
Of course. This isn't not just you.
Because I was just saying, and Evan had brought it up, and it had been a theme, just, I thought he could have did that or handled that situation differently before the half.
Yeah, this isn't just about you. I just hopped into the conversation y'all were having 20 minutes ago. No, I hear this everywhere. We host a radio show. We hear this every day. We've heard this for years now, that Kyle Shanahan gets scared in big moments, which I just don't agree. I don't agree. I think that everybody in sports has a play, and you call it, and when it doesn't work, then you've got to go to what's next, and then the situation is different. It's just not as simple as you didn't score, so you weren't trying. Like, I think they were trying to get the ball downfield. I think Green Bay played pretty well on defense for a lot of that game, and Brock Purdy did not, and it was raining, and it was almost half, and all of those things in a one-point game factor into the way those plays get called, and then the way they get executed after that.
Well,
yeah, to me, it's not so much about the execution as it is about the clock management and whether or not he thought that they could have still gotten a first down and still gotten a touchdown. I didn't like the way he used his timeout, letting the clock run all the way down to 36 seconds. Then he uses the timeout, and ultimately they settle for the 3, and they don't get the 3, and that's just the way that went. And, it's all fine and good in terms of Kyle Shanahan. He's not going to change. And this is something you said on Monday. If you have Kyle as your coach, he's going to do it a certain way, and this is the way he's going to do it. He's going to do it in terms of, being conservative and trying to keep the other team off the field in that spot. And, ultimately, he wants 7 there and he wants 7 on the other side, but he didn't get either. And so I just wonder about the Detroit game where you've got another coach on the other side who's going to be ultra aggressive does Kyle still take that same approach if they're down, 14-3 at the end of the second quarter? If he tries to just maybe get that 3 points and, make sure he keeps Detroit off the field. We'll see.
This is such an interesting matchup, and I'm just glad that it's, I'm glad that it's supposed to be the warmest day of the week, and I'm glad that, glad that the Lions have what's been a shoddy pass defense all year. I feel like there's some attacking that Kyle can really, really do here, and maybe I'll be egg all over my face on Monday morning. I doubt it, but I think that this is a matchup that where, on the defensive side of the ball, there's some things that scare me a little bit with what the Lions can do. A great offensive line and a really good run game and all of that. So they may score, but I feel like this should be a good matchup for the kinds of things that Kyle Shanahan likes to do on offense, and so I hope we see it. I do. I hope that offense looks like it did against Dallas and Philadelphia earlier this year.
And Willard, don't let it be egg, because if you look at what Vegas is saying and what I think the three of us in this room, and I want to speak for you, we all think that the Niners are a better complete team than the Detroit Lions. So the Niners got to go show that and do their part, but I don't feel like you would come in here with egg in your face if somehow the defense didn't get home and we get a repeat of what we saw Saturday night, which I still have not processed, man, because that game was closer than anybody had it, and I kind of don't know why.
I mean, I would have egg on my face if we went out there and they pulled a 2019 NFC Championship game and let Brock throw the ball 8 times.
Right,
you know what I mean? Like that's what I'm talking about. If he goes out there and it looks like he's scared to throw the ball, then sure, I'll come in here and tell you I was wrong. But I saw something from a writer I really, really respect, Ann Killian in the San Francisco Chronicle today, that basically suggested that Kyle Shanahan needs to not be so stubborn. He needs to not stick to who he is. He needs to adjust. And I'm sitting there going,
well, that's what Dibbs and Evan kind of pointed out.
And I disagree. I'm dude,
I thought you were going to say
no,
you
that's
agreed.
where that was going.
I'm like, why did she get? Okay.
you. Kyle, you
I saw Dibbs was saying. Right.
You're winning. You win most of the games. And that was the point he was trying to make over the weekend. He's like, I think that we do this. And you're right, it didn't work that day. But overall, yes, it does. And that's what analytics are, and that's what all of us do. We have certain things we do that work most of the time, and we stick with them. And it's worked, so I want him to stick with it. I don't want him to change one bit.
Yeah, I thought you were like, I agree with Ann.
No, I disagree with Ann, too. Yeah, no, be Kyle. I want Kyle to be Kyle this weekend in all of his annoying ways.
Well, and I do want you guys to continue to be yourselves for the next 4 hours because happy birthday, Mark Willard.
Birthday.
Sorry we couldn't celebrate you last night. I know.
He wasn't here.
I get that. It's my brother Doug's birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday, Doug.
Douglas, Douglas turning 60.
There you go.
I got 2 60-year-old siblings. Yeah, dude, 60 is... 49 is cute.
Yeah.
And 49 is adorable.
49.
49 is adorable.
Yeah.
Dude, 49 is adorable. 60 is like, damn.
We've already moved on. My oldest is turning 17 tomorrow. So
wow. There you go.
Yeah.
We moved on to his.
Turn the page.
Yep.
Yeah, 17 is also adorable. It's maybe the most adorable birthday as a kid because 16 is like, wow. And 18 is like, uh-oh. 17 is kind of that tweener.
And anything in the teenage years is adorable unless you live with them.
And there you go.
Yes,
all right, man.
There it is. All right.
All right, have a good one, guys. Willard Dibbs coming up next, 95.7 The Game.
I love the young people.